I should start this out by saying I'm a 33, almost 33-year-old mom of a 10-year-old boy with Asperger syndrome. My husband also has Asperger syndrome, so it makes it doubly special. I think this vlog, I fucking hate that term, but I will use it. This vlog is somewhat of a tool that I can use to just express my frustrations and really just my emotions about the whole situation that we're facing. So my son, like I said, he's 10 years old. He is extremely smart. He is doing, he uses words that I didn't even know existed until I was in at least my 20s. But he has these emotional issues so much, and I mean their outbursts, and they're just so violent and stunning. Really, they stun you. You aren't expecting it. He really, really wants to do well in school. I know that. He also hates school, which is a normal thing for kids anyway, but for a boy with Asperger's, it's just like, it's crazy. So right now we're looking at middle schools for him to go to, and it is a tedious process, especially since kindergarten. We've been at 3 different schools. The last school that we were bumped from very suddenly and very unexpectedly. I thought things were going quite well there, but apparently something happened. I don't know the details. It just makes me really angry to even talk about. So now we're at our current school for 1 year, for his 5th grade year, for 1 year. And now we're looking at different schools. And we went to the middle school that we are assigned to in our district here. And it was good, and it even is helpful because our neighbor who lives 2 houses down works in special education there, although he works with the 8th graders. And he knows my son really well. So there's that. And, but then we went to this other school last night, which is really, really well known for its academics. Come to find out, they don't have the support in place, the service model for which my son needs to be successful. And it just broke my heart because my son loved the school. He really wanted to go there, but yet then he would say, I'm 99% sure I'm not going to be able to go here because you can't support me. You can't help me. And that was really hard to take, and I cried really hard last night about it, and I'm trying really hard right now not to cry. But part of me just wants to be like, well, we've held his hand so much along this journey at different times, and when he was put into the situation where he was in the classroom, supported with an instructional aid, an IA, supported, he did really well in those situations. And I think that if he had that at this other school, at the one that is really, really good with the academics, I think he could do really well. And also maybe he just needs that push away from being coddled so much. And, it's really hard. So, I guess I'm just going to go and see how it goes. My husband and I, we talked a little bit about it last night, and I just said, well, I think what we need to do is, talk with both of the principals of the school and the staff that's available at those schools. But yet, at the same time, we're dealing with the stupid, idiotic district, and we're fighting so that our son can get the best care that he needs too at the same time. And it's hard because there's service models, and he used to be in an SM4, and when he was booted from his last school and came to this new school, he was bumped down to an SM3. And there's a lot of differences between the two. I'm not going to go into it, but basically he needs to be back at an SM4 because that's what he needs. The SM3 just has, I mean, it's worked out okay, but it's not working the way that we need it to work. And so we're fighting on trying to get him back into an SM4 position classification, and it's just really hard. And what even made it harder last night was he was so well behaved. You could stick him in a group of 20 other kids and you wouldn't know that he had any issues or any problems. He was very nonchalant. You know, he was very excited to talk with other teachers, with where we were directed for special education, and she didn't really seem to know much of what our questions were. So, but it's really sad and it's really unfortunate, and I don't know what to do, and that's kind of why I started doing this here, just talking out my emotions. Because I write a lot in my online journal, which I've had his entire life, and it has almost everything that we've been through chronicled in it. Sometimes it's really, really hard to look back at those hard times. And I don't want to be selfish or anything. I know people have it way, way worse than I do. I mean, at least my son is verbal. He's very verbal. He's not nonverbal at all. So I don't want to be ungrateful and say, oh God, why is this happening to me? But at the same time, it would be so nice sometimes, I think, to have a neurotypical kid. And that's really hard for me to even say that. So, yeah.